Well, good afternoon, everybody. I thought what I would do today, since I recently posted the poker Omaha type game instruction, I thought I would show you a real world deployment of how we put some of those concepts into practice on a little one table tournament on Pokerstars playing the Omaha High-Low split game. Now what I did was, after I shot that video for you, I got online, and as it was progressing, I thought, I should film this and hand hold it. And I was sitting on the couch, so I hand held the camera so it's a little bit shaky. And I filmed it, and I'm going to show it to you so you can see what happens and how the hands play out. It's kind of long, so if you're in the mood to go to sleep, I think there'll be enough length there for that to relax you. But if you're in the mood to go to the very end and see what happens, then scroll up to the last minute or two. Then you can backtrack and go to sleep, okay? So I hope this isn't for everyone, of course, just for people that are interested in how the game of Omaha Poker High-Low Split might be played out in reality against some random opponents. It's not a real money table that I played on online, but it's for a very high buy-in, so the players tend to still play pretty well. It's for the bragging rights, So enjoy. This will be something a little bit different. All right, take care. All right, pardon me for shooting a video of a video, but this is the only way I could do it because the original soundtrack, it was too difficult to make all the decisions about my hand hold the camera, and do a narration to explain what's going on. So anyway, my hand will always be at the bottom here. This is the second stage of this tournament, and so some of the folks are bumped out already. Okay, so these are the remaining players. My handle is Bad Beat, and that's a pun because in poker, a bad beat, not spelled like this, of course, B-A-D-B-E-A-T, is when you get a lucky card at the end and put a beat on somebody. That's not the way I like to win, but I used that term anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and let this play and try to give you some commentary about what I'm doing along the way. Now I'm going to play hands, just so you know, that are quite a bit weaker than normal hands that I would play at a full table. The reason being, as a tournament progresses, you're going to have to play worse and worse starting cards and make bigger and bigger moves and bluffs with them. The reason for that is that these forced bets, the small and big blind, get bigger and bigger as the tournament progresses. So if you wait for perfect cards, you'll get blinded out by these forced bets that travel around the table. Like in this hand, that's the small blind, 75. That's the big hand, 150. Big blind, I should say, 150. Those are forced bets. This guy has limped in for 150 to call the bet, and I have to decide what to do. I can't remember at this point. I think I limp in for 150 because I'm double suited. I can make a straight with these cards or with these cards, so I'll probably limp in and see what happens. But I may fold, I don't know. I'll hit the start button and then explain to you what's going on. And to make this fair, of course, with each hand, these positions change one to the right. So next hand you'll see the small blind will be here, the big blind will be here. Next hand, small blind there, big blind there. It'll just keep going around like that. And then you'll see that after a few minutes, Pokerstars will raise the blinds. They'll double them and make them bigger, or increase them and make them bigger. So you're forced to come in and play some hands, really, or you'll just get blinded out with your stack. See? Okay, so let's let it roll and comment on it. And I'll always be the guy down here. All right, so that guy called, and I'm deciding what to do. I folded because that was a pretty weak hand. And I have, what do I have? I have the biggest stack at the table right now, 5,200. So I don't have to come in all the time. I can wait for a premium hand right now. Again, my apologies that this is handheld originally. This guy went all in, put his whole stack in. This guy either has to call with all his chips or fold. Let's see what he does. He folded, and that's why you go all in sometimes, right? Okay, that's a weak hand. I'm going to probably fold it when it becomes my turn. Let's see what I did. Yep, I folded it. Yeah, I'm all over the place trying to hand hold this. When I was shooting it, I was sitting on the couch, chatting with people and playing this tournament at the same time. So that's why it is moving around a lot. Now, if you had an ace-3, to go with these cards, you would have a good low draw. But he went in and nobody called. Okay, again, that's fairly weak. I don't think I'll call with that hand. Nope, I folded. So I'm just going to protect my chip position because I'm in the lead. So why play hands and throw off chips here? I want to let other people bump each other out of this tournament. This guy goes all in. That's a common play at this stage. He had a king and a deuce. He was betting on his two pair, But this guy had a better two pair. So I'm sure I folded that. Yep, there it goes, fold. So, yeah, I don't remember what I did in here, but I'm pretty consistent in the way I would make a decision. So I'll explain it as we go. You would want a deuce-3 here to have the perfect best low, by the way. And maybe 2 diamonds to make a high flush draw. Something like that. He made a big bet. Let's see what Plan Fool does. He's got to either come all in with his, he folded. They both folded, so they didn't have good low or high. Now I'm forced in for this bet because I'm big blind now. Remember, it goes around and it was my turn. So I'll just check that. Yep. 2, 3, 4 flops. So if you had an ace-5, you would have the best possible low. You would also have a straight. I'm quite sure I would fold there. Yeah, I didn't have anything good. So that's what I did, folded. Now I have a great starting hand. Ace, deuce, 3, suited in diamonds, and a queen. I'll probably raise this. Let's see what I do. Yep, I raised it. Not too much, because I want to keep them in. So let's see what they do. Will he call my raise? I made it minimal. Somebody tells him he should go all in. But I don't think he will. No, he folded, but the other guy called. Now I don't have a very good hand anymore, so I check. See? No, I decided to bet and see if he's got anything. If he has, he must have a 4, and that's why he called me. Yeah, but he doesn't have any chips left. Now if I call, it's only because the pot is so big that calling 270 looking for a miracle draw out is probably the right thing to do. I made a low. I made the best possible low, so I split the pot with him. That's why ace deuce 3 is such a good hand. Now I have ace 3 4, also a pretty good low hand. So I'll call that. Yep. I call the raise. I was looking for a deuce to come, like a deuce 7 would have made the best low draw, so I think I'd probably, well, I may call with the ace 4. Let's see what I do. Do I fold or call? Yeah, that was a good fold if I do it. Because I didn't have a great low or high. Okay, so that guy just bumped out this other player. So now we're down to 5 of us. That's a playable hand, because I got 2 good low cards with an ace. You always want to have an ace if you're going to play this game, pretty much. Almost all the time. Until it gets down to 1 or 2 players anyway. Now I've got the club flush draw, the best club flush draw, because I have the ace 8 of clubs, and there's 2 clubs up here. I also have a pair of aces, and I have a weak low draw. So I'll make a small bet there and see what they do. Got 1 fold. Let's see what he does. Is he going to fold or not? Depends on what he has, of course. You have to, yep, they both folded, so my small bet was enough to get them out. That's a weak hand. Let's fold it and get rid of it. This guy says chip leaders always play stupid. Willie up here. He was trying to taunt me, but I don't go on tilt. Insults roll off of me like water off of a duck's back. I don't go on tilt when someone insults me. That's a losing strategy. I don't know why my hand was flying back and forth there. Okay, this is a great hand I just got. Ace, deuce, 4. The 9 doesn't help me, but short-handed and ace, deuce is great. I should raise that, and I do, yeah, okay. Because he doesn't have many chips left, and so I just raised it a little bit. He goes all in back at me. I only have to call a small amount. Oh, he had a great hand, but I have a good low draw. So let's see what happened there. Oh, he got all that. Okay. He took part of my stack, but he had a legitimately good starting hand. He had pocket aces, and I forget his other 2 cards, but very good starting hand. So I would make a note on him saying he's solid. You can make a note here on players, and I often do that. Like I made a note on this guy and this guy. That's why it says N there. Note. I can't pull it up right now to show you, but I think my note said something like, this player's pretty bad. Something like that. He's weak. He plays weak hands. I was typing. That's why my arm's going. I was typing in the comments, and it says chat is disabled because somebody went all in. This guy had a great hand here. Aces full of queens. He's got 2 aces. There's an ace on the board and 2 queens. Now I'm going to fold. Is this really annoying? I hope that if this isn't your bag, then just skip it and wait for a different video type. But then you'll miss out on seeing the end, because I don't know yet who wins. Well, actually I do, but I'm not going to say. Now this guy has the biggest chip stack over here. I'm behind him a little bit. Here's the 3rd and the 4th. So we're down to just 4 players. And anything can happen at this level. There's a lot of luck involved, okay? So he's got two pair and one with it. You don't usually win with two pair in this game, but when you're short-handed like this, down to 4 players, then it's a better hand than a full table. Okay, 4 low cards is pretty good. So, me and this guy are just about even now. Yeah. Now the blinds just went up. It's 100, 200 blinds. What am I going to do? I fold that. Throw away my forced bet. Okay. Why did this Norton thing come up? Let's get rid of that. But other than that, this is not live. I recorded it and trying to comment on it now. It's hard to do slowly. I don't know what I would do. Fold that because my 4 cards are not working together. And I still have a chip lead. So why sacrifice it on a weak hand? I still want a couple other players to bump each other out before I get too aggressive with weak starting hands. Alright, so let's see what happens next. That's me tapping a little bit. He bet 400. I think he's got a full house or a really, well, we're not going to find out. Now he's got the chip lead. Jack, Jack, 5, 6 is, I'm going to throw this away, Jack, Jack, 5, 6, which means probably a Jack will flop. Yep, there it is. I would have made 3 Jacks. And that would turn into a full house if a 10 or a king comes in the next 2 cards. Not so far though, right? Someone with an ace queen will now have top straight, and they would bet it. He's probably got ace queen right there, or 2 good diamonds. Yeah, one of those 2 guys has a big straight now, I'll bet. So let's see what he does. Will he bet? No. So maybe he's luring the other guy in, or maybe he feels his hand is no good now. He's trying to decide. He calls. Yeah. See, he flopped a straight, but it was a lower straight. He made a bigger one on the final card, which is called the river. Now, if I call this, it's because I've got ace-9 suited, and I'm already in for a forced bet of 200. So maybe I would call, because the pot's so big, and see what happens. Yeah, that makes me an open-ended straight draw with 6, 7, 8, 9. See, I have a 7, 9, and there's a 6, 8. But that's pretty weak with 2 diamonds up there. Now I've got a top flush draw, because I've got the ace 9 of hearts, and a jack queen of hearts is up there, so I make a small bet. I also have a straight draw, so I have a straight draw and a flush draw. I use the 7, 9 for the straight, or the ace 9 of hearts for the flush draw. So if a 5, a 10, well, they both folded. They were scared. They knew I had something. That's a really crappy starting hand, so I'll fold it. See, I can tell you that before I see what I actually did. And so you can see how the chips kind of move around sometimes in this game. Because you can win the high or the low, and you split the pot frequently, sometimes the chips will just travel around in a circle, and it can go a long time. But he just made a big bet, no one called, so it's pretty close. I guess this is going to end up being a longish video, so we're already 14 minutes into it, so maybe you'll fall asleep. long before the tournament gets over. Now, I was saying something there, but in the original audio track, but I have no idea what I was saying. So, I was trying to do commentary. That's weak, I'll fold it. There it goes, right. I can't make jokes to you like the guys on TV do, because my mind isn't quite fast enough. Let's just say his playing fool handle might be appropriate. Another weak hand. I think I don't even want to call one bet with that, but let's see what happens. If that guy folds, I would definitely fold, not chase. Yep. So you see I can predict. No, I don't remember these hands. It's pretty easy to predict what I would do. I don't think I'd call that either, nope. I'm waiting for something better. That's a lousy starting hand. You don't get a lot of great starting hands in Omaha. You need to wait for the good hand. Okay, that's a giant flop for somebody, because people always save an ace hand. I mean, they like to have a hand with an ace. Alright. Now, he's almost all in, this one. Okay, so what happened? Yeah, he got it all. So this guy was betting really foolishly, you know, and he had the monster hand, the big ace with low cards to go with it, so that he could make a straight and a low. Even a full house was possible. 3 diamonds on the board. So if somebody has 2 diamonds, you know. All right. Let's see what happens next. I wonder if I should turn the sound. Nah, I don't. It'll get too confusing if I turn up the sound. Okay, that's a terrible starting hand, so if anybody raises me, I'll fold. But let's see, he just calls, so I'll just probably check. Yep, and take a look at the flop. Okay, I don't have any of that flop, really, other than a pair of 8s. And I still don't. You know, bad flush draw. Now I've got a really weak low, and I doubt I would call with it. Yep. You don't call with a really weak hand in this game. That's a bad strategy, so I may call here because everyone is in and it only cost me 1 chip. But I'll definitely not call his giant raise when it comes back to me, because my hand is kind of weak. Only 3 cards are working for me. Jack, Queen, and King. And the deuce doesn't help me. So yeah, I fold there. And let's see what happens between these 2 guys. There's a big bet and a call. Yeah. Ace, deuce, 3, 7. Oops. Yeah. He really had no business going all in there, but he got lucky. My hand is crap. Into the muck it goes. If you don't know poker terminology, throwing your hand away means going into the... When you say I'm mucking my hand, throwing it in the muck, that means you're throwing it away. That's a good hand, I'll play it. Yep. And let's see what happens. This guy has the chip lead now over up here. I have ace, 3, 4, 5 for low, and I have a big diamond draw. And I have a pair of aces. So that's why I'm coming out with a bet. I have 3 or 4 different ways to win. And that's what you want in this game. multiple ways to win. I could get a weak low. I could make a straight if a 6 comes. I can get the top flush if a diamond comes. There's a lot of different ways. Okay, so they all folded. And now me and this guy are even. Oh, great starting hand. Ace king suited is big for high, and ace deuce is good for low. The 10 is suited to the deuce, but they all folded. And I never even got a chance to raise with it. Okay. This hand is playable with only 4 players, so that's why I came in with the small raise. But I don't like that flop. It's terrible for me. I don't have spades, I don't have a low, so I fold. That's a pretty good hand when the game is short like this. So I'll limp in and see what happens. Always want to have an ace in your hand. I can make a straight if an 8 comes, because I've got a 10 jack to go with the 7-9. Don't have a good low, so I'm just going to check. Do have 2 clubs for top flush possible, but the problem is I don't know if anybody can make a full house. So I make a pretty big bet, hoping they'll all fold, and they did. Oh, that's a great starting hand. I just limp with it to keep them in. And this Norton thing again. Okay, I've got a low draw with my deuce 5. I've got a pair of aces. It's an okay flop for me. If they both check, I'll make a bet hoping to get them out maybe. Or will I check and see what happens? Okay, I just wanted to see what would come next. Now I've got 2 pair aces and 5s, but I don't have a low yet. I bet hoping they'll fold. Hoping they don't have deuce 4, because that would kill my hand if they had a deuce 4. There's a call. I'm rooting for a 4 on the river, but it didn't get there. Now what will I do? Just check, because it's scary. Yeah. Yep, I got lucky. Neither of us had a low, and I won with my 2 pair aces over 5s. Okay, so that was a very lucky hand for me, though. It was kind of weak. All right. They all fold to me because I have a chip lead and they don't want to go against the big chip stack. That's the advantage of having a lead. They know that you can put them all in at any time. If they come in, all right, I don't want to probably play that one because he's got the other big chip stack. Why put my chips at risk when I've got a chip lead against another big stack? Let these 2 guys bump each other out first, one of them anyway. That's my hope. All right. I think we're almost to the end of this segment, that I'm going to have to pause for the final portion of play. I think it's going to end up coming down to him and me, but with the blinds so big, it's a debate for me, but I folded. In a full table, that would be a terrible hand. I'm hoping one of these guys, he's got a really small stack over here. He's got a small stack there. And the blinds are 100, 200, so one of them is going to be forced to make a move soon, or they're going to get blinded out by the forced bets. So let's see who wants to make a bluff move between those 2 guys. Whoa, what happened? Okay, gotta pause. Had to pause for a second. So he makes a big bet, and he has to decide whether to call all in. He does. but I don't think his hand is good enough to win. No, it is. Okay, because he hit the straight. Yeah, I have a great starting hand here. So I'm definitely going to stick with this guy. I've got a nut low draw, but I'm just going to check it. Nut meaning the best low draw, ace, deuce, 4, 8. I'm kind of forced to call him there, maybe. Although laying it down could also be. The reason I folded is if I call him, it's on a draw, and I don't have a good high hand, and I would only get half the pot, even if I won. So his big bet got me out. And I want to fold that also, because it's weak. I'm still waiting for these two guys to go. And then if I get it heads up with this other big stack, then I can get very aggressive and go to war, so to speak. But what you want to do is move yourself up the ladder without putting your stack at risk, if you can. And I'm going to fold that weak crap there, as long as I have a big stack. All right. Is it too chatty for you? Am I confusing you with all of this talk? I hope it's not too much. But, let's zoom in a tiny bit. Okay, what ends up happening here? They split low and high. Okay, that's a big hand. I'm going to raise it, I think. Yeah. Because I've got 2 aces and 2 big cards to go with them. So this guy, will he call? Let's see what he does. I'm probably going to get one of these guys. Nope, they both folded. Yeah. And they don't like going against me because they know when I raise, I usually have a good hand. I'm not doing much bluffing at the moment. Omaha's not a very good game for bluffing until you get, like, heads up, just a couple of you. Then you need to bluff. I'm calling that because the pot's so big. I could make a straight with a 4 on the board. Other than that, I don't have a hand, so I'm sure I will fold. I have a weak low draw. I'm debating whether to, but I fold after a few seconds, right? So let's see what happens now. Yes, he gets it all because he had 3 kings, and the other guy didn't make a low. And I was typing in comments, but what I was typing, I don't know. That's what all that nonsense is. That's not my real hand right now is here, my live hand. That's in the pre-recorded thing. It's a little bit disconcerting to see it there. And meanwhile, it was my turn to act, and I didn't. I was so busy trying to type something. Okay, so we still haven't changed much. These 2 guys over here still have the small stacks. And I don't know what will happen. But I don't think this will go on too much longer. Yeah. It can go really fast once 1 or 2 people gets bumped out. The end stage of the tournament can take place very quickly in 1 or 2 hands sometimes. So he goes all in on the right there. Will he call? No. All right, they're hanging on, hanging around. Oh, great starting hand. So I just call instead of raise because they always fold when I raise my big hand. So I have to try to lure them in. I don't get a very good flop. I don't want to see the ace up here, really, because I wanted low cards to go with my ace deuce. But I bet out anyway, hoping they'll fold. I do have a pair of aces. I do have, not much else really. A very weak low draw. I'm hoping they don't have anything, and sure enough they don't. So one of my few bluffs. Now the blinds are really going up, so it will go fast now. 200, 400 blinds. This guy's going to be forced to come in for his final chip because he's already in for a forced bet. So there he is. So now in this situation, I would check it down with my other opponent and hope one of us will have the winning hand to beat this guy. So I'm just checking. Now I have a full house, so I might bet it. I've got deuces full of queens, so I bet the size of the pot. There's no low possible out there right now, so I bet, hoping this guy will think I'm trying to... Nope, he folds. So I just bumped that guy out. Now we're three-handed. And I'm going to come in with weaker hands now because the blinds are so big. I can't afford to just sit and wait. So I have ace, deuce, 3, 5 so far for low. I may call with that, even though I would not do so in a full game. Let's see what happens. Will I let them battle it out, or will I call? Did I call? Yeah, I thought that's what I might do in that situation. Oh, I made a miracle straight. Ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5. I have the best high and the best low at the moment. So the other guy folds, and I knocked out that guy, and I have a big chip lead now. Heads up against this guy. With a chip lead, you can lean on the other player sometimes. So it's a nice advantage. Okay, I don't have anything on that flop. All I have to do, I'm going to fold because I don't have a great hand of any kind. I'm just waiting for him to make a bluff move at the wrong time, because I got a 2-to-1 chip lead on him. 4, 5, 7 queen. I'm not going to bluff him yet. I have a poor draw here, and don't have anything really. So I probably won't even call his little bet there, because my hand is so weak. What am I doing calling? Get off that call thing. Get the arrow to the left there, buddy, and fold that crap. Okay, there we go. I got nervous for a second there, guys, watching this, thinking, surely I didn't stupidly call that. Okay. Now, normally I wouldn't call that, but because it's heads up, one-on-one, I have to play some weaker hands. I will definitely fold. He's representing a king in his hand, see? There's 2 on the board. We're almost even in chips. Heads up, that's a pretty good hand. Would not be at a full table, but here it is, so I'll probably call his big raise. Sorry, folks, about the delay. My phone rang, so I forget where we are in this hand because I just took that call. But you see I have 7, 8, 4, 4. And that turns out, heads up against this guy, to be a very good hand. Because when this flopped, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for a straight. I also have, if I want to use it a different way, 3 4s, because remember, 2 from your hand and 3 from the board and 2 from your hand. So if this board pairs now and something else comes up there, to pair that board, I can make a full house, but I already have a straight, and also that is a low, a potential low hand. And so I don't know what this guy has, but let's progress and see what happens. Back to our game. Did I hit play? Here we go. Okay, there it goes. All right. So there, oh, he makes a big raise. And yeah, I backed up a little bit. So I call with that, and there's the board we were just looking at. Okay. He makes a huge bet, which is exactly what I want to see, because I'm going to raise him all in. I'm going to put all his chips in since I've got a straight. And boom, boom. I think he didn't improve. Oh no, he made the low. Okay, so we split. He had a better low and I had the high with my straight. This is pretty good heads up. So I'm going to call his big bet. And I don't have a straight draw. I don't have a flush draw, but I do have two big kings. I'll check them. He probably has an ace, and so I'll fold. I have the weakest hand there. Now he's got the chip lead. What will happen? This is a good starting hand. Ace 3, Jack. Heads up, it's a good starting hand. It would not be at a full table. 7, 8, 9. Well, I've got a low draw with my ace 3, and that's about it. But I'm going to bluff here and put a big stack in. So now I play aggressively. He called, and he doesn't have much. He made a straight, but I made a bigger straight and also a low, and so I got almost all his chips. He puts all his chips in. I call. I have a pretty good hand. I made a top straight there, and so I think, yep, that's it. I won the tournament. With the help of all you subbies, of course. Tournament closed. Bad beat won 99,000. Wouldn't it be nice if I did that in real life? That's a 65 Ford Mustang. That's my little thing. So first, second, and third, that's the prize money, okay? All right, now you get the idea how a tournament can go for Omaha.